What's up, my niggas? So I want to talk about CM Punk, and I just want to start off by saying, not even a full day before I made the last video about Punk, I get the news. I go on YouTube, and I see the news. And it says CM Punk has been fired by AEW. I'm just like, what? Because at first I'm thinking that this was clickbait. At first I thought this was just like some troll using some clickbait bullshit. But then I'm like, this can't be real. This is not real. This is some fucking troll shit. But nope. So then I tap on Google. CM Punk fired. Lo and behold, it was official that CM Punk has indeed been fired by AEW. Multiple news sources confirming this. Boom. I'm just like, wow. Wow. I expected something to happen. I did not expect something like this to happen so briefly. Because at a certain point, I was like, okay, when is Tony Khan going to actually step up and do something about this? Because he's been, being too friendly with this guy. He's been too buddy-buddy with CM Punk. And people were just like, okay, this guy needs to grow a sack and actually do something. And then boom, he gets fired. And I know this has to be very, heartbreaking for a lot of fans, a lot of wrestling fans. I know this probably hit you out of nowhere because, believe me, it did for me. I get that. Their biggest successor turns out to be a failure. And at this point, you're probably thinking, is he going to go to WWE? Is he going to retire? What is this motherfucker going to do? From my point of view, he probably won't go back to WWE because Triple H and Vince McMahon don't want his ass. He can't go to New Japan Pro Wrestling because of their relationship with AEW. And he obviously can't go to ROH because they're owned by Tony Khan. And he probably won't go to Impact because they're not going to give him the money for it. So what other option does this dude really have? You fucked the bag up for some bullshit that happened over a year ago, and then you come back and you do the same shit that gets you fired. What the fuck? It's almost as if he was trying to get fired from the get-go. Let's see what I have to do to piss somebody off and get myself fired. There, it's done. This whole thing could have been easily avoided. I'm not one of those guys that are just like, oh my God, Tony Khan did such an amazing job. He finally let his foot down and no, I'm not doing that because you could have prevented all of this from happening to begin with. You could have had Punk and Elite come together, apologize, shake hands, and move the fuck on. Same thing with Jack Perry. You could have just had either of them stop the situation from getting worse, but you didn't do that. And I'm sorry, but Jack Perry needs to be fired too. I'm not, there's no letting him off the hook on this one. He needs to be fired too. You get into a physical altercation, and then all of a sudden you expect no consequences to be had. No, this dude has to go too. Fucking Jungle Jobber is what his name should be. This whole thing was a mess. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that Punk wasn't a draw, but at the end of the day, if you fuck with the wrong people in the business, then you're bound to get fucked with back. And it's almost like it's almost as if this whole thing was a setup. He comes back and it's like they're ready to put this guy back on the shelf. And it took a nigga like Jobber Jungle Boy to do it. You're just like, what? What? This motherfucker of all people. Wrestling fans, or should I say wrestling fans, CM Punk fans, I truly hope that you guys keep your heads up. I know this is very heartbreaking for you guys, and this guy was probably your childhood your childhood hero growing up, and so on and so forth. I used to like CM Punk until this whole drama thing started, and then I'm just like, okay, this kind of turns me away from him a little bit. But nonetheless, I know that this is very tough. This is a tough loss. And I just hope that continuing forward, and I just hope that moving forward, that AEW happens to find the right guy, to build this company from the ground up and just keep it pushing. I mean, you don't necessarily need a guy like CM Punk, a veteran, to build your company from the ground up and put it on his back for like the next 10 years. You don't need that kind of experiment for your company. You need to build up stars. And plus, CM Punk is like 44 years old. I mean, like the guy can't even move like he used to, and he's injury prone at that. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to want him to carry the company for the next 10 years. I mean, he's good for nostalgia and all that, but carrying the company, I don't think so. So from this point on, you just need to simply build up on your stars. That's what they need to focus on. Build your talent. Build your stars. Because right now you can't really name too many people on that roster that can do it, but hopefully that's what they can do. So far, I'm liking guys like MJF, Ricky Starks. I'm liking a little bit from what I'm seeing, but you just never know what they're gonna do with these guys. Are these guys is this gonna be the guy that you want as your next top star for the next 5-10 years down the road? I guess we just have to wait and see.